The Weed of the Week, sponsored by Ag PhD Field Day 2011. Attend the free Ag PhD Field Day July 22nd on the Hefty Farm near Baltic, South Dakota. You'll see dozens of plots, a live tiling demonstration, a ride and drive session with new technology, a host of celebrities, and Brian and Darren showing you what's working and what's not on the farm. This will be our biggest event ever, so don't miss it.
Our Weed of the Week is wild mustard. Now, if you're a mustard producer in our country, don't get too offended here. I mean, you know, we know that mustard is raised for a crop, but the problem is there's so much wild mustard that infects small grain fields all over the country. It's a major issue and we've got to talk about it.
Well, and also alfalfa. I talked to a lot of my friends and they say growing up, we had that alfalfa field out back that we were going to need that hay for our cattle. That was the big thing. I don't know what it is, but dads always conspired and they said, my kid has too much free time. Why don't you go pull the wild mustard?
Hey, I never minded pulling mustard though, because they pull out of the ground pretty easy. They don't have this big root system.
But there's so many of them and it's a pain when you're out in a wheat or alfalfa crop.
It's an annual weed. It's not that bad to control.
All right, well, let's look at small grains. If you've got wheat, for example, and wild mustard is a big concern for you, you should be using one of the Affinity products. Affinity Tank Mix, Affinity Broad Spec, or the generic versions of them do a fantastic job on mustard control. You can tank mix them safely with a wide match and get all the weeds in your crop.
But you could use Husky all by itself if you wanted to, too.
Well, you could. Now, many guys have used 2,4-D. We just don't agree with that. 2,4-D, you don't need it in wheat.
And the reason why is because it's a little bit hard on the crop. So we would just as soon have more yield, use one of the other products that'll do just as well and be safer for the crop.
Okay, we've hit that a lot today. Let's talk about corn. If you've got wild mustard, we do a great job with either Callisto or Lotus or Impact, or you could use Status. It does a nice job as well.
All right, well, how about in soybeans? What are you going to do there?
Well, in soybeans, I like to start out with a pre-emerge herbicide for any broadleaf weed control. I would start out with something like an Authority Assist where you've got some Authority and some Pursuit down.
Yeah, the Pursuit's the real key. Pursuit's pretty decent on it, and that's something you could use in alfalfa as well. Since you mentioned alfalfa, either Bucktril or Pursuit is going to help you out there.
Well, don't let our Weed of the Week wild mustard take over your farm. Get it under control this year. It's all time for this week's weed, but there's more Ag PhD to come after this.